One.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Wine Down with Kev. I cannot share my enthusiasm enough with you today. I am super excited to be launching a journey. Yes, Wine Down with Kev is the Dream Chaser podcast where I talk to people that chase their dream, but more importantly, today I'm chasing mine. This is going to be episode number 1 of me talking to 50 insurance agents from 50 different states doing 50 podcasts. Absolutely insane. But I'm so excited to start that journey this morning, not only with a fellow Allstate agent who's amazing, but someone that I personally consider a friend. This person has been in the insurance industry for over 23 years. She opened and she operates her own Allstate agency. She celebrated her 5th anniversary doing so last June of 2024. So this year she's starting her 6th year. She is the wife of a husband. She is the wife for over 15 years. She has a daughter, Jordan, who plays travel volleyball. In addition to running an amazing Allstate agency, she loves cooking and many other things. Without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm Wine Down with Kev welcome to Megan Dodge.
Hey, Kevin. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. I butchered your husband's name, so please correct me and say your husband's name and give the credit that is due.
It's Jason.
Jason. I thought it was Jason, and then Justin popped in my head. I said, "Oh no, Kevin. It's better to say nothing than to call out the wrong name."
Absolutely.
So, Megan, thank you for coming on the show, being my first guest in my quest to do 50 podcasts with 50 agents from 50 different states. Megan, do me a favor to start us off. Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
So, yes, I opened my doors a little over 5 years ago. I completely started scratch, zero business. We've grown very fast, still growing. And again, husband of 15 years, daughter Jordan, loves to do travel volleyball. And, this is what I live for. This is all I've ever done in my life is insurance. So
I love it. 23 years for you. People are going to fact check me in the comments. They're going to look at you and they're like, how could she have been doing this for 23 years? So how young did you start in the business? You had to start like as a preteen.
I didn't even have a driver's license when I started. 16 years old. I was just in driving school. So I started answering phones for a local agent, did every job I can do within an agency, and decided it was time to open mine about 17 years later. So.
Oh my God. I love it. I love it. So Megan, as you and I go back and forth, we're going to give a lot of tips that helps a lot of agents. One thing I love that you just said, I've always been about giving young people a chance. And thank God to that agent that gave you a shot at age 16. So Megan, I was reading your bio on your website. I Facebook stalked you. One thing I love about your website, you're in the unique position that you own and operate an agency where you actually were born and raised.
Yes, I do.
How amazing is that? Talk to me a little bit about Metairie, Louisiana, if I pronounced that correctly. Give us a 30-second, 60-second commercial about what it's like in Metairie.
So, we're about 10, 15 minutes away from the city, New Orleans. So it's very much family oriented. And everybody knows everyone, and when people talk around Metairie, it's not where'd you go to college, it's where'd you go to high school, and that's how you're known in the city. So it's very unique. And then, you have all of the access to the city, and we're so close. So we have all of that, culture that comes with that, food, as you know.
I love it. I love it. 10 to 15 minutes outside of NOLA, outside of New Orleans. I looked it up on the map and doing my homework in Google Maps. I just see the big body of water. I see Metairie, and then I see all of that water. What's it like living so close to the water?
It's great. I mean, obviously we have a huge boater community. People love to get out on the water. We've got Lake Pontchartrain, which I drive every single day. And then of course we're right by the Gulf of Mexico as well. So it's beautiful, but you don't go in the water there. It's definitely not swimmable. You got to drop a few hours away for swimmable water.
I got it. We don't go dipping and diving in the
No.
Gulf of Mexico. So, Megan, I want to start this conversation off by saying thoughts and prayers out to everyone in California dealing with the wildfire situation, all of our fellow Allstate agent friends, all the clients, all the people impacted by the wildfires and all the lives that were lost. What were your thoughts as you watched it on YouTube and Reels and television like everyone else, watching what was happening there?
I mean, it was just devastating. I think when it became reality is a local news person here in Metairie actually put a map of the wildfires in California over our area to kind of put it into perspective of how large and how destructive it was. So, yeah, it's just devastating. And, look, just like every disaster we go through, they're going to rebuild, they're going to come back. But it is in the moment very, very upsetting.
Well, thank you for sprinkling positivity and good vibes on that. They definitely need it.
Yeah,
With you being 10 to 15 minutes outside of New Orleans, you've seen your fair share of natural disasters.
absolutely.
What
Hurricane.
comes to mind? What comes to mind? There's one that comes to mind that's popular, I would think of, but what comes to your mind first?
Hurricanes. I mean, that is our biggest, that's what we get every year.
Then you said every year, so you didn't even go backwards to Hurricane Katrina. You said it's an every year thing. So that's something as an agent that you have to prepare your clients for all the time.
Absolutely.
What would you say? Do you think most people, since you have it every year, are most customers conscious of the need for flood insurance and all the other protection that you sell to make sure they're properly covered? Or is it still something that people may have the thought, why me? Why can't it be less expensive? Or, a flood is never going to happen because we're 10 to 15 minutes away from the Gulf.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think having, consistent hurricanes, on a regular basis, when we have the big ones like Katrina, like your Idas, the ones that make a huge, that's when people really wake up. But, when we're talking to our customers on a day-to-day basis, we're making sure they're educated to know like why they need a hurricane deductible, why they need flood insurance. It doesn't matter where you are in this state, you can still flood on a regular rainy day. I mean, we're surrounded by water. So it's
Absolutely. It definitely can happen to anybody. Um, from an insurance standpoint, do you have any memories, anything that pops to mind? Maybe a particular customer or a particular claim where someone had the right insurance and you were able to be the hero and help put them back together. You were able to be the guide and the customer was able to be the hero because they actually took the time to buy the right coverage.
Since I've been open 5 years, I've only had one major claim. And yes, we were able to make them whole. It was a total loss. Their house was on a corner lot and roof came right off and absolutely were able to get them back whole. And we're so thankful that they did have the right coverage. But I've been very fortunate to not have but one in 5 years, you know.
I tell you what, you said the roof came off, and everybody that's watching or listening, talk to me in the comments. What do you think of that? That is like unfathomable for most people to think of literally the roof coming off. So let's stay here for a second. When you say the roof came off, I'm thinking flying shingles. Are we talking shingles all over the yard, or are we talking about the roof missing?
We're talking about the roof missing. They were on a corner lot and had the roof was at a peak and it took the whole thing off. I mean, there was some structure there, but I mean, they lost everything.
My God, my God, my God. But the good news is you were the guide. I like referring to the customer as a hero in this story because they bought what you recommended and we
Yeah.
were able to put them back together. So people watching this, you can visualize your own house without a roof with a hurricane that obviously includes wind and rain and everything that you own being soaked and destroyed. Uh, Weather, rain, water is no respecter of people or our things. It just kind of gets at us.
Yes.
Absolutely. So Megan, let's leave insurance for a little bit. Let's
Okay.
talk about your passion. Let's talk about food. Let's talk about food. Talk
I
about Megan's kitchen. Talk about your love of cooking.
I do. I enjoy cooking. You know, it's on my website. If I wasn't so passionate about insurance, I would have a restaurant. Although that's I hear a very difficult business to get into. But I take care of my friends and my family every weekend. You know, they call. What are you cooking? I'm coming over. I have to go boxes from Sam's, ready to go for them to take home. So I really enjoy. That is kind of my time to wind down behind my stove.
Wind down with Kev moment right there. So I normally ask, how do you decompress from running a business, being a wife, being a mom? How do you decompress?
That's it. Between my, drive home, listening to my self-help books and sitting, if I have a rough day, I'm cooking something big. That takes me hours. And they'll come sit at the counter and watch me and nobody can help me because I've got it.
Wow. God bless your husband and daughter. They just get to take in all the smell. Megan, what's the go-to dish? What should the listeners and watchers be picturing you on a really stressful day and you're working it all out? You're taking it out in the kitchen. What are we seeing? What are we smelling? What are we getting ready to taste?
Oh my goodness. So pretty much anything Cajun. I love a good sticky chicken, a gumbo. I mean, pretty much you name it, I can do it. It's just about, and I tend to take recipes and then make them my own. So it's never going to be the same, but it's always going to be great.
Megan, I am a chicken connoisseur extraordinaire, and I've never heard of sticky chicken.
Okay.
Talk to me. What is sticky chicken?
It is chicken thighs fried down with onions, bell peppers, basically makes a gravy on its own. And you throw it over some rice. It's delicious. Lots of seasoning, of course, but it's a hearty, stick to your ribs kind of meal. So
Wow. If you're feeling that, talk to me in the comments. My God. Megan, I have traveled a lot across these great United States, but there's probably 15 to 18 states that I've never been to. Unfortunately, Louisiana is one of them. Louisiana is one of them. I've never had the opportunity, headed there to visit a friend in 2019. It didn't work out. But listening to you talk about this sticky chicken, I got to move some things around on my calendar. I got it. I have to get down there.
well, my office has a kitchen too. So if you do come, I can definitely make it happen. So
So wait a minute. I got to get a picture here. So a highly stressful day, which only happens once in a while in insurance. Usually insurance is smooth sailing all day, every day. Not. Will you decompress in the office and cook for your staff as well?
absolutely. We usually start with breakfast on the days I'm in that particular office, you know, bacon, egg, sausage, however they want it. And then we cook lunch.
My goodness, Megan, talk about servant leadership. Talk about servant leadership. I think what you're doing is the essence of servant leadership by cooking for your staff. I would work a little bit harder. I'd stay a little bit later. I'd come a little bit earlier for a homemade breakfast in the office. Are you kidding me?
Right?
Oh my God. Well, Megan, one of the things I admire about working with you, you and I have history together. We've worked together for over a year now, is your leadership style. You are all about your people. We've talked about your vision boards. We've talked about the wonderful retreat that you recently did with your staff. How would you describe your leadership style and where does it come from?
So, to answer where it would come from is I think just years of working for other people and maybe not feeling so appreciated, And so when I decided to open it, I wanted to make sure that everyone that worked for me knew how much I appreciated them, and it's not just about buying things for your team because we can buy things by making money. I think it comes from, making sure that I'm a better person to help make them better people and then they do better. So that is kind of where that background comes from. And I had wonderful bosses throughout the years, taught me a lot, but they also taught you the things that you don't want to do when you open an agency.
Megan, I love that answer. One of the things I like to say all the time is that leaders know the way, they go the way and show the way. I have never had a better answer than what you're doing right now and your why of doing of making people feel appreciated. I ask people sometime, what is the number one reasons, or what do you think the top couple of reasons are that people leave jobs?
You know, could be a bunch of things. Sometimes it's internal. They're battling their own internal things, but definitely feeling underappreciated. A lot of them will say money, but I don't believe in that, because if you love where you work, it doesn't matter how much money you make. So definitely appreciation.
I would definitely, I think appreciation is right up there with training and development. So you are showing appreciation. Megan, let's bounce back into insurance. You've been in the industry for 23 years. For anybody that's listening to this in the great state of Louisiana, how would they get into the insurance business? What do they have to do if they just want to take the first step of maybe getting a license?
Yeah, I mean, you would take your pre-licensing course. Takes about 2 weeks of studying. You go take your test. It's fairly simple. It's always good to talk to someone ahead of time, have a mentor, someone that can kind of help you through those steps. But honestly, once you have a license, it's pretty easy to get on somewhere. Having that license is very important.
Absolutely. Is there a preferred school that people go to in Louisiana? Is it online? Is it in classroom?
I would have to look that up for you. I
No
forget the name
worries
of
at
it.
all.
What's
No
that?
worries at all. No
Okay.
need to look it up in this moment. You told people that what they need to know, they can do it in 2 weeks. Um, any major prerequisites? Do they have to go to school first? Do they need a certain background? Or is it wide open for anyone that would love to be in this field and have an opportunity to help people?
Yeah, I mean, it is absolutely wide open. I mean, obviously, you would have to pass some sort of a background, check. But as far as taking the exam itself, no, that you don't need any kind of, other than taking the 2 week course online. You could do it in person. Most people do everything online now, but it's pretty simple.
Outstanding. So, Megan, people listening to this podcast, listening to how you cook and take care of your staff, you're going to get some resumes coming your way because they not only want to get insurance, they're going to want to work for you. Are you always receiving resumes? Are you always interviewing and willing to talk to candidates, even if you're not hiring in that moment?
Absolutely, always. And a great salesperson pays for themselves. So bring it on. Bring me your resumes. I love it.
I love it. I love it. What do you what do you look for in a great salesperson? What are the things that are most important to you?
To me, it's just, having being a part of a team is really important. Team morale, being able to jump in and fit in, and truly embracing what I bring to the table, because I'm always pushing for them to be better. So um and obviously outgoing, enthusiastic, just a non-fail mentality, someone that's willing to do whatever it takes.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. No substitute for good attitude, good energy. So, Megan, we're talking about all of the positive aspects of insurance. Let's look behind the other side of the curtain. What's been some of your toughest days in insurance that you'd want someone to prepare for? If you're in this industry, be prepared for this because it's a little bit tough.
So in Louisiana specifically, if a hurricane is in the Gulf, they're going to shut us down. You cannot write business. So, if you rely on new business income coming in, you could potentially be shut down for 2 weeks to a month. And we've had quite a few of those. September of last year, we were shut down for the last 2 weeks.
Mhm.
So it definitely, can affect the goals that you have to make and the income that you make.
So you always want to be prepared because not if, but when that happens, you want to be well prepared to make that pivot or be prepared if that comes up. That is a great one to share. Is it tough sometimes in business, just the day-to-day operations, dealing with the state like Louisiana with the water issues? I think you guys have some unique coverages in terms of wind and things of that nature as well.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, so we're in a unique market, and if we're talking, like specifically for all state agents, we don't have all of the options that other states have. So we definitely have a unique environment to overcome, but we do it every day. And, that's why we show up every day, and we've got to do what we got to do to make the money we want to make and provide for our team. So,
I love it. Megan, I am approaching 4 decades in this business.
wow.
And if I was fortunate enough to get to Louisiana one day or get a secondary home there, I would know nothing about local insurance. So here I am with all this general experience, all this knowledge of insurance. But if I moved there, I would know nothing. I definitely would need a local agent like yourself as a guide. So one of the reasons why I wanted to podcast with 50 agents in 50 states, I wanted to show there's a big difference in dealing with a local agent that's an expert that lives in that community as opposed to dealing with a 1-800 number or a .com. What are your thoughts about that?
No, I think it's very important because we deal with it every single day. We're there when you have a claim. We're there, we're in your community. And we also have the same coverage issues that you have, when the rates are high, when, you can't find coverage, and we're dealing with that because we live here as well. So yeah, it's definitely different than dealing with an 800 number for sure.
It's a big difference. I love the value of a local agent, being one myself. The insurance industry has taken a little bit of a backlash with the wildfires in California. People question notification and things like that. You and I deal with that, where sometimes we can't keep someone. How does your agency deal with notifying people that based on this or that, we may have to shop you for insurance with another company, or we may have to do something different? How do you deal with notifying people even when it's not great?
So, I mean, we're in constant contact with our customers. So I feel like a phone call from us isn't out of the ordinary. You know what I mean? So it's been fairly easy. It's not always the most fun conversation, but it has to be had, and it's the options that we have available. At least we have options, right? So
That's a big difference. And that's one of the beauties of being an all-state agent, is having options. People think of us as captive in that you only can go there, but that's not the case. So when we open this conversation with you being born and raised in Metairie and running a business in Metairie and everybody knowing everybody, how tough is that for you if you want to go to a travel ball game, or you want to go to the supermarket, or out to a restaurant outside of Megan's kitchen? How tough is that on tough days post hurricane? Are you able still to show your face around town and with great pride know that you've done everything you can to take care of people?
absolutely. And actually, after Hurricane Ida, we contacted a local food company and had them donate, hamburgers and hot dogs because nobody had power. And we got a huge grill out there, and we grilled and served food to the whole community, even if they weren't our customers. So, we try to go above and beyond to make sure we're taking care of them, and we can face them because we did do the right thing, and more than we needed to do.
I love it. I love that thing that you did in the moment that was needed. So let me make sure I caught that correctly. Hurricane Ida,
Mhm.
there's no power. People need to eat. You have a passion for cooking, and you're the local insurance agent. You pull out a grill.
Yep.
Talk to me. Give me that day. Give me a visual. Let the people that are listening see it.
It was hot. It was mid, August. I mean, probably 100 degrees, no AC, no power, no running water. But we went out there, grabbed a few of my friends. Actually, it was a friend of mine who worked for the food company who was able to get that donated for us, which was amazing. And we just popped up in front of our office and packed boxes to go for whoever needed it. So it was a fun day, but it was very hot.
I can only imagine. God bless you for getting out there and doing it anyway, even though it was hot. You showed up and you put the community first. Um, Tell me some of the other things that you're involved in the community. I know you're a big giver. You're not necessarily a person that holds an office in this organization or that organization, but talk to me about some of the other giving you're involved in the community.
So yeah, anytime someone asks us to sponsor a local, baseball team or school, or just a child that needs, $20 to run a race, anything that someone asks, we're going to do. And then, of course, we do a lot with our realtors. Anytime they have an open house, realtors work on commission only. So if I can provide the meals for their open house, it might cost me 150 bucks, but that is helping them out to help them with their next sale. So we do a lot. I'd say locally. Again, haven't found what really pulls on my heartstrings to do something a little more passionate, but anytime someone asks, we're willing to help. So reach out for sure if I can assist in that.
Megan, you're cooking for open houses. Other agents watching and listening to this podcast, we're bringing donuts and coffee. We can't compete with you.
Sometimes I'm just buying Chick-fil-A, let's be real, but I love to cook, and that, definitely makes it easier.
I love what you're doing for the realtors and how that strengthens and builds relationship. We are in the relationship business, so doing those sorts of things definitely seals the deals and builds relationship. So Megan, I love what you're doing on social media. You are crushing the game. Talk to me about how long you've been active on social media, and how does being active on social media or digitally show up in your business?
So, I mean, I've always had some form of social media, but more specifically, when I opened my agency, I knew that, you have to stand out because everybody can do the same, 5 posts. So since I've opened, I've been active on social media, and I personally can do a lot more. And that's what I'm working on for 2025. So
I love it. I love it. Now, are you working all day, cooking all night, and posting everything yourself, or you're working with anybody that you want to shout out that's helping you get some of these things done?
yes, so Casey Cookert. I can't say her name right. I'm sorry, Casey. And actually, Brooke Rolo actually started a little program with me as well. So we're working together with both of them. But most of my content is coming from Casey, and for the last 5 years.
I love it. I love it. Shout out to Casey. I'm going to bypass her last name as well. You don't pronounce it the way that it looks. But since we talked about Casey, with Casey and with some other wonderful ladies, women agents around the country, you had a unique opportunity this year to speak. What was that experience like for you?
I wanted to pass out. I as much as one of my things on my vision board is to public speak. Even being on here, I can tell you I'm shaking, but hey, I've got to put myself out there. And Casey gave me that opportunity to speak in front of a room of probably 35 women, maybe more.
Yes.
And it was empowering, scary, all of those things. But I let myself go outside of that comfort zone, and I actually set up to do another one in June with her. So I'm very excited.
Outstanding, outstanding, outstanding. So let's stay with the empowering women conversation. What would you say to a woman that maybe is not in insurance right now? Maybe she's a business owner and a boss in another area, but she's thinking about a field that she would like to get into, that she can own and operate her own business. What would you tell her about the insurance industry and the opportunity to own and operate her own agency?
What I think for me is it's something I've always done. So I knew it just came natural to continue doing it. But the insurance industry is just managing people. If you can manage people and manage them well, you're going to be successful. I mean, yes, there's a lot of other moving parts. But if you can manage the person, that's where, for me, that's where the gold is.
I would agree. And with that goal, you do something unique in your agency that definitely raises the bar for all other agents. And that's the retreat that you do with your team. You and I talked a lot about it. You gave me a lot of details on it. I was blown away. I try to be the standard and set a high mark in many areas. But what you did there for your team, the retreat, can you talk about that a little bit about your annual retreat with your team?
I can. So we do this once a year. It's something actually an old boss of mine did with us, and and I've just kind of expanded on it for myself. But it's where we go away. For us, it's a weekend. It doesn't have to be. It can be a day. It can be just time out of the office where you don't have to think about technically work. And you get to bond. And we rented a little beach house, and we went to a nice dinner. We had a scavenger hunt and went shopping. I mean, I try to do stuff that excites everybody. In prior years, we've done the Myrtles Plantation, like a haunted ghost tour. So I do something unique every year, but it's a time for us to go away, reflect on the year we've had, celebrate our wins, and plan for the next year. And it really does. It brings us together. And it's something that even if I wanted to stop doing it, they would not allow me to.
I love it. So you mentioned the scavenger hunt. You mentioned going out to dinner. What I was listening for was, did you cook for them?
I did. So we did go out for dinner, but we did a taco bar Friday night when we got there because finding reservations, getting in late. I did taco bar and then I cooked them breakfast, and then we did
Ouch.
dinner Saturday.
Outstanding, outstanding. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Megan, I think I've asked you a lot about your agency, about the industry, about your passion for cooking. What didn't I ask you about that you would love to share with everybody that's tuned in and listening today or watching this later on YouTube or wherever they may consume the content? Maybe they're listening to it on, their favorite podcast app.
Yeah, so I mean that the agency retreat's something new that I'm offering out there. So if there's agents out there that just need help and assistance with starting that process, whether it's a day away or a weekend away, I'll be glad to help.
That is tremendous value, because once you do one of those things, which taking care of people and cooking is second nature to you, but unique to others. So you heard it here first. Is that something you're looking for? A little coaching, a little guidance on? Megan Dodge can be your go-to person. So Megan, I wanted to thank you for everything that you did, everything that you shared. I did have one other question that people think about. Sounds like a lot of work, and you've kind of answered this already.
Mhm.
People always question this before they come into an industry. Is insurance a place where someone can balance work and family?
Absolutely. I mean, insurance is so flexible. And I mean, most agents, whether you're working as an employee or an owner, most agents allow flexibility. Working from home is an option now, especially after all the COVID stuff happened. It is 100%. You can juggle both. So hopefully.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, you're doing it at a very high level. Tell people where they can find you, follow you online, plug your agency text, phone number, whatever you want to share. If you're hiring, talk about that as well.
Yeah, I'm hiring. Just Google Megan Dodge. It's spelled unique, Maghen, and then Dodge like the truck. So you can find me anywhere.
I love it. I love that you're able to give that confident digital answer. Not everybody can say that. So full disclosure, in my podcast prep, you can Google Megan Dodge. You'll see that she has great Google reviews. You'll see her website where she tells an authentic story about her agency. You also have very up-to-date photos of your amazing staff. So it's all there, and definitely on social media. You're telling a wonderful story, and more than insurance, your personality shows up because those dishes are there. So Megan, I want to say thank you for coming on. Thank you for a great conversation. When I make it to Louisiana, I'll let you know in advance because I will be looking for sticky chicken. Ladies and gentlemen, talk to me in the comments. Stay with me 1 second, Megan. I just want to see anyone is asking us any questions in the comments. I don't see it as of yet. So I do want to say just thank you for coming on, being my first guest in my venture to podcast with 50 agents from 50 different states. Ladies and gentlemen, Megan Dodge, Metairie, Louisiana, on the Gulf of Mexico, properly protecting her customers, her clients, from all the risks that they face, communicating with them throughout that process, and proudly showing her face in public and feeding them during, before, or after the storm. Megan Dodge.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.